thank you today for coming. We appreciate it. This is part of Philadelphia Education Week and the suburbs. We'll be doing this over the next 2 weeks. Every day at 11 o'clock, we're going to have a different speaker on, and we're basically moderating these to get the most amount of golden nuggets out of these people to help you guys with your business now and the future. So we have people from all around the country speaking each day at 11 o'clock, and I hope you guys come back for some more. Basically what we're doing right now is you're going to comment if you have questions, and we have a series of things that we're going to have Bob share today. I'm going to give you the outline now so you guys understand what you're going to get in for. He's going to give you mistakes, he's going to give you a little information about him. He's going to give you the mistakes that he's made over the years, which he said there's only been one, so it's going to be short. So the good news is when a person becomes this successful, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. He's going to share those with you guys. Secondly, he's going to talk about what he's done well. And then the third thing, what he's going to do is he's actually going to tell you what he would do differently if he did it again. Then we'll open it up to questions. While you're watching this today, please put your questions in the comment section. Yesterday with Mike McCann, we had a lot of great questions. I will go through and make sure all your questions get answered. So you guys are lucky. We have the number one team in the world for Keller Williams here today, and we'll get some more information here in a second, and Noah's going to introduce him. But I want to make sure you guys take advantage of this. Leave your comments. And after you watch this video today, if you guys want to find out more about Keller Williams, how we're growing, how we're helping people, why we're growing so fast, why people are so productive, one of the ways is the education that we provide like this on a daily basis for people. And we'd love to talk to you, either me, Noah, or Mike, and set up an appointment with you. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Noah Ostroff, one of our business partners in KW Philly, who owns a team called Philly Living. He knows Bob well and is going to do an introduction for Bob. So talk to you, Noah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Well, this is our, I want to say, third annual education day/week. A couple of years ago, we started something called Education Day, or Ed Day, where we brought in some top speakers and presenters and trainers from around the country for a jam-packed day of education and knowledge. We thought it was probably too much to sit in front of a screen for 8 hours today, so we've broken that up over the course of the week. So today we're very lucky and fortunate to have Bob Lucido, who I consider a friend and one of the top agents in the entire country. Has been number one agent for Keller Williams for many, many years. And not just number one, but like number one by a lot. Bob probably sells more houses in 1 month than most of us do in a year or multiple years. Bob sells about 2,500 houses a year, almost 800 million in volume last year, and 16 million in GCI. These are just absolutely crazy numbers. And Bob's not only a business person, he's a sales guy, and he'll tell you that. He's a face-to-face, belly-to-belly guy, and he will get out. He's still going on dozens and dozens of listing appointments every single month. He loves it. He's passionate about it. He's done it for many, many years. He's been through a couple downturns and has some great stories and scars and survival stories to tell about that. So without further ado, I want to introduce from the Baltimore area to your Education Week, Education Day today, Bob Lucido.
Hey, thanks, Noah. I really appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking your time to be here, and hopefully I'll be able to give you some recommendations to help you guide you. First off, I want to compliment your leadership team. Jeremy, thanks for the follow-up and inviting me. And I want to say this, Noah, you and there's about one or two other top people in KW I consider my closest friends. I've always admired Noah, his passion, leadership, young and very successful. I love his diversity. And what I like most about you, Noah, when you and I would get together, and this is where I really bonded with you and Jeff Glover, is you share with me, you say, something, you really messed up in this particular area we were talking about. I said, yeah, I screwed up too. We weren't all just gloating about our numbers and talking about our successes. We were really talking about areas where we screwed up. And I'm going to share with you a lot of areas that I've made mistakes in, guys and ladies. And that's what I like about you, Noah. You're very transparent, you're humble, and you talk about areas that you need to improve on. So congratulations on having an awesome, I love your market center, by the way. And for those of you that are a part of Noah's Market Center, congratulations. If Mike McCann is on this call, Would you please block him out? I don't want Mike to get any of my ideas because I'm afraid he might catch up to me. I don't want him to use any of my techniques.
Bob, he told me to tell you he's coming for you.
I'm only kidding. I love Mike McCann. He's an awesome guy. And this is the great thing about Keller Williams is that everybody shares and gives feedback, and you learn from so many people. So I'll just start off by saying this. I'll be 62 the end of this month. I still can't believe that. I still think I'm young like Noah. And I have failed more than anybody on this call today. I started when I was 18 years old, and I was never in your business. I was in the new home business. I had a company of 300 people. I was selling homes in 16 states. Life was great. Had $1 billion in sales. Then the crash of '08 came, and that was the worst crash ever. A lot different than this one. That was more prolonged. So I reinvented myself and started with my wife Tracy, the Bob Lucido team in 2008. Was with Remax for a short period of time, and then joined Keller Williams. Best thing I ever did was join Keller Williams. I don't get paid to say this, but I will tell you something. The leadership we have at the top with Gary Keller, Jay, and their entire team has been so supportive and helpful for me. And so we have great leadership. One of my biggest mistakes is I didn't come to Keller Williams sooner. Number one. Number two, there's a lot of, sharing with Jeremy, I have a lot of mistakes. And I'm just going to go through them with you because I hope that you all this will resonate with you so you can take action not to make my mistakes. I didn't have, when I first joined with Keller Williams, I really didn't tap into guys like Noah and these other people out there when Noah wasn't with Keller Williams. But one of my biggest mistakes is I didn't tap into the systems at KW. So if you're on the sidelines, you better jump in because you're losing. Now, we've achieved, because we have a great, wonderful team and great programs and everything, I can't believe the amount of success that we've achieved with all the things that we have failed on. We have failed with so many different areas. So number one, we should have come to Keller Williams sooner. Number two, should have tapped into their systems and models and really gotten engaged on the processes. I didn't do that. Number three, I didn't hire a coach soon enough. I thought being around Gary, Noah, some of these other top people would be enough for me. Jeff Glover, they're awesome, and I learn a lot from those people, but they're not my coach. So I was fortunate to get what I consider one of the top coaches in all of KW over the last year, and he's transformed our business. I'm looking at this thinking, how stupid could I have been? And I made these mistakes, but I'm a quick learner. And I failed, but I learn quickly. I admit my faults, and I move on. So I would hire a coach if I were you, even if you got to get one of your vendors to help pay for it. Have somebody that looks. We just had a coaching call with the coach this morning, and he's actually coaching Sarah Reynolds, Noah. And one of the things I didn't do, we didn't engage ISAs until like 6 months ago. So we're selling all these houses. I worked hard and not smart. Now we are laser focused on our ISA program. I went out and hired the number one ISA in America that was with Redfin. He created and was the number one ISA with Redfin. He's now leading our ISA program. We've got 4 on board, and we are hiring 2 more at the end of this month. So we're laser focused in that area where we had screwed up before. So not hiring a coach, not engaging into KW soon enough, not having an ISA program. We grew too big, and we didn't have systems and processes in place. So I replaced my old leadership team. Now I have somebody who offsets my weaknesses. I'm a rainmaker. I know who I am. And you might want to write this down. You all want to figure out, who are you? I know what I am. I'm a rainmaker. I'm not one of these guys that sits on the computer and goes through like Lance Loken and some of these other wonderful people, our percentage of this and our percentage of that, charts and graphs. Yeah, I love looking at that stuff, but I don't do that all day long. I'm out making deals happen. So find somebody that offsets your weaknesses, and I have somebody like right now who's doing that and doing an awesome job at a very high level. So I sat next to Mo Anderson at Tony Giordano's wedding. If any of you get a chance to meet Mo, she's one of the most impactful people in Keller Williams, and Gary Keller will tell you himself, Keller Williams wouldn't be where they are today if it wasn't for Mo Anderson. I sat next to her, and somebody took a video of me during the ceremony, the reception. I was just taking notes, talking to Mo. She said, Bob, my greatest fear is that our industry will not have enough standards. That really resonated with me. I don't think my team, we had enough standards. So we are changing our program, and we're not accepting mediocrity. I love the quote the other day, grow or go, somebody used on one of our conference calls. So we're not going to surround ourselves. We're a team of champions. We're not going to surround ourselves with people that don't want to be a champion or want to grow. So I accepted mediocrity, and I won't do that anymore. We have higher standards. And the last mistake, this might be actually number 6. This was huge. We're a lead generation machine. And we did not track our leads or lead accountability very well. In fact, it was non-existent. So I flew out and asked Gary Keller if he would meet with me. And Gary took 4 hours and spent time with me. It's myself, my wife, and our COO on going through our leads and our business. And he's essentially transformed our business in being a lead generation machine with total accountability. Some people were leaving our company and taking leads that I'd given them. So I gave them a springboard to leave. Now it's documented in our contracts. Our leads are our leads, total accountability. And our company, I'm so excited about where we're headed right now, because we got to where we were the hard way. Now we're actually going to do it smarter. And it's actually easier that way if you do it smarter. So those were some of our top mistakes. And I encourage you to dissect your business and see where you can learn from my mistakes to make your program a little bit better.
Bob, can I ask you a question then? So you and Mike talked yesterday. Mike talked about mistakes. You're talking about mistakes. Curious on your opinion on this. When should a person be hiring an administrative assistant? When do you think, how much business do you think they should be doing?
I have, my wife and I works together with me. My wife has a different role, but she and I have 3 personal assistants for us that handle everything so that we can focus on priorities. To answer your question if I were you, I would tell anybody on this call, if they can afford it, I'd do it from day one. It'll be your best investment, and I would put the money into them. And if you had to forego a paycheck, if you could do it, if not, then whenever you can afford it, do it. Because one thing I'm really good at is I'm a master delegator. I don't do anything but my areas of focus and priority. I want to be belly to belly, face to face with people. That's how I make things happen. Number 2, I love being involved in marketing to help drive the engine of our team. My daughter and our team, they do a great job, but I like having some input there. And number 3, I like looking for talent. I love being in front. I'm a belly to belly person. So that's what I love doing. I delegate everything. So the sooner you can delegate that, Tony Robbins mentions it in one of his tape series about hiring a personal assistant, pick up your dry clean, do everything that you could do. That, like some people say, well, Bob, like I don't cut the grass at my house. Not that I'm too good for it, but those 3 hours that I'm cutting grass, I could be doing lead generation and make 20 times more I would pay the guy to cut the grass. So always do the highest and most productive thing possible at every given moment, and that's what I focus on.
Bob, isn't it interesting? It takes us a while to figure that part out. Up front, we try to do everything ourselves, and there's people watching us today where they're trying to rehab their own house. They're trying to do their own dry cleaning. They're trying to process their own paperwork. And once they realize they're not in the sales game, they're in the leverage game, how that changes, right? You know, that now they understand they're in the people game to put it. What would you say, how much money did you have saved aside to hire your first assistant? 3 months, 2 months? You know, what did you do? 6 months?
I came from new homes, and when I first got to, guys, you don't want to follow my path. When I started in resales, it was May 15, 2008. We started from scratch, and we jumped right in with 1 or 2 assistants right away. I knew what I was going to do. I've run businesses before. I had 300 people before we started with 5 agents and 2 assistants. And we just started there. I said, you're working on marketing. You're working on being my assistant. I'm going to go out and get business. So I got great advice from a dear person who became a second father to me during the crash of '08. And I sold some properties. I became liquid. Encourage you now to get as liquid as you can because this business is a little different right now. So I became very liquid when I left my new home company. So we weren't looking at profits when we first got into this business. I knew exactly what I was getting into in 2008. I wanted to build the business. So we quickly went very, because we invested a lot back into the business. So as soon as you can, I would say get an assistant, because you're going to use that to leverage to multiply yourself. And then tap into the models and the systems at KW. I did not follow that. I just said, look, I'm going to go out and spend, and I just did it because I was financially able to do it at the time. So I did not want to wait to be able to hire an assistant. I'm not going to go do stuff that I know is not going to make me money. I'm not. Now one thing that I'm very much, should have started this conversation out. Everybody on this call, I want you to know something. I'm just like you all. I'm in the field, in the trenches every day. Pre-COVID, I love open houses and I love knocking on doors. I love going after expires. I'm very much in the trenches. Jeff Glove and I are probably two of the only people that are still doing it. Why? I love doing it. It helps me teach and it helps me be able to convey to my people, if I can do it, you can do it. So I'm feeling your pain every day, and I've done what you've done.
What would you say? I just had a question asked on mistakes. You were saying not leveraging a coach. What has changed by you hiring a coach?
Oh, dramatically. First off, he's looking at my business. I was working in my business. I got somebody who now is consulting all these other top people and is right with Gary 3 days a week. He sees everything that we're doing, and I value his opinion. Whereas before, I don't think I valued other people's opinion enough, because I don't think I trusted it. And number two, we're testing a lot of things. And when he says, Bob, this works. I mean, you take a person like Sarah Reynolds, and he's helped her grow to where she's gone. Well, guess what? Success leaves clues. She's doing this at a high level with these ISAs. Why wouldn't I do that? She's doing it very successfully. He's coached her. I'm like, okay, I should have been doing this sooner. Lance Loken has a team of ISAs. So we want to create a very strong ISA program that we can duplicate across the country into all of our expansion locations.
So Bob, I wanted to jump in and switch gears for a second. So I think it will be a great topic to discuss, because you and I had, an hour-long conversation last week or 2 weeks ago about what changes we're making in the new world of real estate and how we're operating and how we're doing listing appointments and how we're doing things virtually in the new world. So you had some really great ideas, and I think it'll be great for people to hear how you're operating in the new world and how you're still going on listings and taking listings, and what are you doing for them and how you're handling your buyers. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, first off, I should have started this off as well. I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I encourage you to take every precaution possible. I'm not going to live in a closet, but I'm also very careful with what I'm doing. So I encourage you all to do the same, because your health is obviously the biggest priority. I'm still going out on appointments. I've done some virtually. In fact, I just listed a $2.9 million house, and I've never met the seller. They're in Florida. Sold the house down the street, and they contacted me, so we have that house listed now. I'm going out. We're rubber gloves, and I've got an N95, and I've got certain strategies. They wear masks. Then we go in the garage where there's a table. We're far enough apart and we can talk and have social distancing, and everybody kind of feels very comfortable with that. So I'm still going out and meeting people because I feel that that's my strength. I just listed, people say, Bob, what are you substituting your open houses for since you can't do open houses? I just listed 5 for sale by owners in the last 2 weeks. I want to create a program that's duplicatable. So now that I've done that, I'm going to now show my 150 agents that we have around the country how I did these for sale by owners and how it really works. Because other guys that teach for sale by owners, it's all from a book and done years ago. I just did it last week. So I can teach them how to do that. We're also checking in with our people more. Every day we have a check-in call. From 9 to 9:30, we actually have a topic on forbearances. Was yesterday. So we have different topics every day, communicating with our team, and then I have a global call with my entire team every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. So we are very connected to our people on the team. So I encourage you to be connected with your team, but also connected to our customers. And Gary has said this, people lead with your heart first. Don't call and ask you for sales during this mark. You got to be very subtle about it, or people will think you don't have a heart. You got to be sincere in asking them about how they're doing, and come from contribution. So we're massively communicating with our database, and we're very involved in our community.
So what does the conversation look like to your database? What are you saying to your sellers? What are you saying to your buyers? What objections are coming up, and how are you handling them?
First off, we're letting everybody know that we're here to help them. And first thing they say, well, how's the real estate market? And I'm letting them know, and always tell the truth. I say, look, we're actually doing very well, everything considered. Now, the world has changed, and I don't think it's going to go back for a long time to where it was. It's going to be different. So I tell them and say, look, right now is a great time to sell because there's no inventory in the market. So if you're a seller, we're getting multiple offers. Just sold a couple this weekend with 5 offers on it. So if you're a seller, I would sell now. I also share with them an article that I got where it says that when this thing calms down a little bit, another 30, 60 days, there's going to be a tsunami of houses coming on the market. So that's where you're going to get your unfair share of listings. So more is going to come on. So if you're a smart seller, go on the market right now. We'll protect you. We have our protection program to be able to help you with gloves, masks, sanitizers, no kids in the house, nobody uses the bathrooms. We got to wear booties.
What
Everything
state is that, Bob?
Yep.
What state is that?
We're in Maryland.
Okay.
We're lucky that we can go out. I know Pennsylvania, you all have been more restricted than we have. We're not supposed to do open houses, so we haven't. Hopefully that's going to open up in another week or two. Not supposed to knock on doors, but I've violated a couple rules there. A couple. I'm not doing it very aggressively, but I've done it. And
don't worry, this is not recorded and it's not live on Facebook.
There we go. Very discreetly, I did it. We're letting people know that it can be done safely for buyers and for sellers, and we're getting the job done. Now, I let sellers know, look, you want to price it right, make it look great, because we want to have the house sold in 5 days. You don't want to go through this COVID process for 60, 90 days. This will be you increase your chance of catching the virus. So the sellers are being more accommodating, more realistic, and we're actually finding it's working. Now, our sales are down. I'm always transparent. They're nowhere near where we want them to be. I think maybe we're at 50% because we just don't have the listings. Normally, I'd have an inventory personally right now of about 40 or 50 listings right now. I think I have 18, but I feel the momentum coming. Setting listing appointments. Every day, either I set a listing appointment or I set an appointment to call them in 2 weeks to arrange to go have a listing appointment. So my appointments or appointments to make an appointment are really filling up.
How are you can you take us through that lead generation? Obviously, you're a lead generation machine. A question came in and said, Bob, take us through your morning. What do you do in lead gen? There's new agents on here, there's experienced agents. Take us through your morning, how you're generating this much business.
Are you talking about how do we market to get the leads? What am I personally doing? What is our team doing?
Let's talk about let's take it back when you were getting started or you're an experienced agent before you had this huge team. What did you do on a daily basis in the morning you'd recommend to this group that they should be focused on? Say this group's anywhere between $0 and $100 million, right? But say the average, I don't know, say $0 to $10 million in sales or 0 to 20 million personal production. What would you be doing on a daily basis to generate your lead generation?
By the way, prior to coming to Keller Williams, I never really heard the word lead generation have designated time. The Millionaire Real Estate book, if you haven't read that, the MREA book, at least if you've read it a couple of times, you're missing out. So I read that book in 24 hours. I couldn't put it down. So when I first came to Keller Williams, into resales in 2008, I didn't have the right guidance. I didn't really have a coach. Remember, I had all this experience, but it was new home sales and land. So I really didn't have anybody guiding me on what to do. So I tested so many things and failed. So let me talk to you let's talk about pre-COVID and all the lead generation we do to generate leads.
Okay, Great.
If you want to write some of these down, these are some great nuggets. Number one, open houses, but you better have a process for it and a great follow-up system. Number two, home buying seminars. Number three, relationships with builders. What specific program do you have with builders for them to give you business? What value to bring them? Number four, senior housing. We have a senior housing division. It is awesome. We're in about 20 different assisted living communities. And when people move into those communities, they have houses to sell. I do a seminar a month in these communities, but I haven't now for the last 6 weeks. And I'll address 50 people. I love being on stage because I get to go belly to belly with all these people. So there's 50 people that are thinking of moving into assisted living communities. We get to talk to them about helping them during the transition. So our senior housing is very good. Land. We saw a lot of land. We've got a couple people in our company that focus just on land. Huge opportunities. Find your niche. I was speaking at Toronto. We have a team in Toronto. There's a gentleman out there, I think, Mick and Ernie or something like that. Fascinating man, wrote a book on niche marketing. Find the area that you're passionate about and you pursue that. I never got into short sales REOs. Pat Hyben and other people did that, and they did an awesome job. Find what you're passionate about, but don't do 20 different things. I'm passionate about, we're the luxury leader in the world for Keller Williams, and we saw a lot of luxury. I'm also passionate about builders and land. So I stick to my knitting. You find out what you're good at, what you really enjoy. Now, I've said this for years, but actually a couple people on the call the other day said this, Noah, that one of their big opportunities now is finding people that have, they're absentee owners. You go to the tax records and find people that have different addresses than the property. And those people are landlords. A lot of landlords, the tenants aren't paying rent right now and thinking about selling their properties. And when this thing settles down, governments will probably be raising taxes because there's going to be such a shortfall. So maybe they want to sell their property now and take some profits. So finding those absentee owners is a huge way to either rent the houses for them or maybe sell their rental properties for them. Divorce attorneys. We have a program where we work together with a lot of divorce attorneys. Engineers have land. Expireds, FSBOs, but you got to have a plan for it. Some of my people on my program team don't like expireds and FSBOs, and I don't force them to do it. Find what you love doing and then pursue that area. One of my team members has a great relationship with credit unions, and she's created a niche there where she represents a specific credit union. She gets a steady flow of business there. Create your pillars of business that you get ongoing business on a regular basis. Then the most untapped is your database. And really, I've heard database so much in the last 30 days, I'm actually tired of the word because everybody talks about it. But I really want to see what you are doing intentionally. Jeff Glover had this, he was speaking to our team the other day on, he didn't use database till 2 or 3 years ago, and now his business is transformed. What is your specific plan? 1 big event a year, 2 calls a year, 1 email a month, a regular handwritten note or gift in the mail every quarter. What is your specific plan to your database? The success is built on building layers over time. Very rarely we see somebody that's an overnight success in the real estate business. It's people that build it over time.
So when you said absentee owners, I have a question here, someone asking about absentee owners. So you guys are buying lists or you're pulling lists from the MLS? Can you tell us a little bit more about the absentee owners?
You pull it from the MLS, you've got, it's really simple. And you can see it on expired listings every day. You'll see the owner, and then you'll see the address of the property is 123 Main Street. Mailing address is Biscayne, Florida. Then you know that's an absentee owner because the 2 addresses are not the same. Where you live, Jeremy, and your mailing address is probably the same.
Yep.
So we know you're a primary resident. Now, my ex-partner back in the 80s went from being a school teacher to one of the biggest developers in the area. He's a very wealthy person. The tax maps. Does anybody use the tax maps?
Yep.
Well, I will tell you this, that we use them and we have used them over the years. Spec Print is a company that has, you lease these. You can buy it or you can lease these. And
What is that again, Bob? What's that company? Because we use tax maps. What's the other thing you just said? Spec what?
Research Spec Print, SPEC Print, Spec Print. They used to have these huge books, and I used to go through them. And again, I'm not a developer, but I found land, and then I would put together groups to buy the land. And it was when the land, if there's a vacant lot, it'll say the address, and then it'll say unimproved over there. And when it says unimproved, it means it's, and then here's the seller's contact information. You go contact them. Where my ex-partner was a history teacher, real estate part-time, reviewed the tax maps and found the 3 largest landowners in our county and went and met with all of them 40 years ago and has been selling their land and developing it for 40 years, all from the tax records. So finding absentee owners, finding unimproved land is a huge niche. And I just hired somebody, the guy, I won't name any names, of course, he was making almost 7 digits in the banking business and got let go at age 60. Started over with us. I said, I'm going to teach you how to do this land program. He's been with us 6 months and he's tearing it up. He says, this has been huge. And he's selling land and individual lots and then a little bit larger parcels, all from researching unimproved property. So huge opportunity, everybody. But my hope is that everybody today will find one thing on this call that they're going to take really aggressive action on, whether it be a lead source or hiring a coach. These things I will tell you would have been game changers for me. I mean, I look at the results that we've achieved. I'm like, oh, this is really good, but it's nowhere near. We could have been double what we're doing right now had I been coached. And when I first came to Keller Williams, I wish somebody had got me in a room for 30 days and just molded me into doing these things, because we've made so many mistakes.
So in our area, we have phila.gov, Bob, and basically in that mapping system, we can find zoning. And then based upon that zoning, I've trained a lot of guys and girls over the years. They can go out and find a particular building, know they can knock it down based upon that zoning and build something much bigger, right? So they're getting intentional. A lot of the things that you're telling me today is you're very intentional at how you do it. You know the 3 things that you're good at. You've outsourced the rest. And over time, you've probably obviously figured out what you're good at, what you're not good at, right? So if someone's watching us today as an individual agent, what would you say is the max things that they should focus on so they can dive deep? Because by me hanging out with Noah, McCann, and these other guys, over the years what I've noticed is certain ones of us each have our hole that we can dig we're really good at. But the one that digs the least amount of holes is the most successful. They just focus on the 3 things, calling a hole being what they focus on. You said your 3 things, is that the 3 things? You said you're only focused on 3 things. You basically hire everybody else. Is that fair?
I focus, I'm a rainmaker in my life. That's what I love to do. I'm passionate about it. It's a game I play with myself, and I love it. Number 2, I love the marketing. I love making sure that we are doing everything. I'm testing something right now, a newsletter to different communities, but I'm bringing in all my vendors. They're going to help pay for this daggone thing. And we're doing it digitally and in print, because I've gone on listing appointments and seen other people that have newsletters where they have the reports of the sales in the community. And people say, Bob, here, I know what the house is worth. Here's Joe Smith just sent me this. I want to be the resource in neighborhoods. So I'm testing this in a big way. Now I'm going to give you a hint. Tony Robbins sent me to a seminar 20 years ago. I met Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham is regarded by many as the world's leading authority on marketing. Yeah. He stood I spent $5,000 for that weekend. 200 people were there. He said, I'm going to say 2 words that will change your life. Everybody was quiet. He said, this will make you millions. Nobody even wanted a sound. He says, if you don't do these 2 words, it'll cost you millions. And he had people guess what were the words. The 2 words that have changed my life and will change your life if you do this is called test market. We test everything we do, and I'm doing a huge mailer. And what might cost $40,000 for me is going to cost me a fraction, because I've got my vendor partners who are pitching in and paying. I'm testing this. So I'm going to test it at a very small cost. If it pays off, it's going to work out. If not, I lost a fraction, not some huge dollars. We test ads, we test employees, we test everything. So I'm going to encourage you all to do test marketing and test what you're doing rather than you pay the dummy tax on everything that you do.
Interesting. So I got another question here. Is your call to excellence, how long do you give your agents to produce?
That's an internal battle we're having because I don't think I had high enough standards. I guess I'm soft at heart. I want to give everybody a chance, but I will stick with somebody, Jeremy. If you were on my team, if you were doing all the activities, but you weren't producing that much for 6 months, I would stay with you because you're doing everything. You're going to get the results. So I'll stay with you longer than most people will because you're doing the activity. If you're not doing the activities, I should have let more people go sooner. Just because we have big numbers, don't be impressed by that, guys. I've got areas I've got to refine. I might work where I reduce my number of agents. I even proposed to my agents, I said, tell you what, I'll sign contracts. You sign a 10-year contract with me. You have 40 agents and you do 50 houses a year. I'll get rid of the other 50. But the reason I keep growing is I don't trust these other people that they won't leave, and my business goes through these cycles. So I'd rather have fewer that are higher quality and subscribe to our standards, higher producing, than I'm managing too many people. I don't think I let too many people into the family that shouldn't have been in the family.
So what are those activities, Bob? So, with us, I try to get people to talk to 20 people a day, 100 contacts a week, set 3 appointments. We'll normally get a person to where they want to go up front. And as they grow, the numbers grow. As they get better, they need less contacts per person. What's your standards that you have that you think they should be?
We're quantifying our standards and we're changing them as we're growing. But one, they're going to be doing open houses. If you're not doing 4 open houses a month, when you're starting out, you're missing the boat. Number 2, you got to be doing lead gen 2 hours a day. Number 3, you have to be practicing scripts with an accountability partner. I think you should have a coach and an accountability partner. Number 4, you got to be responsive. Now we use the CRM Boomtown, and if you're not in there and you're not tracking leads, and you're not following up, you don't get any of our business. We used to give business out. Now you've got to earn the business, and we are only giving business leads out. We have a pilot group actually right now because we're testing something, and the pilot group's doing an amazing job. These 12 people. Now we're going to expand the pilot group, but there's certain standards. If you don't do everything in that program, you're not part of it. You've got to be in Boomtown every day. You have to have a certain amount of follow-up. You got to have a certain amount of drip campaigns. We have a whole regimen that Sean, our lead ISA, who's just been a game changer. And that's the third thing that I do is look for talent, looking for great talent. Before I used to say, Jeremy, you seem like a great guy. You're hired. Now we're going through a much more strict process, and we're following KW's process for hiring. Rather than me just winging it by saying a gut, I think you'll do a great job. So having standards, focusing on the areas that you're strong on, and I'll stick with somebody longer than I should because I believe in them. I tell them, I believe in you more than you believe in you. But if I'm doing this stuff, why aren't you doing it? People say of the success I will tell you this. I got C's in high school. I'm really nobody special, but no one will outwork me. I will follow a process and I'll work harder and do it. And you can do that. I'm like, I love Vince Lombardi. He was very basic. And that's what we need to do in this business, I think, is get back to the basics. It's not sophisticated. What leads you're going to buy. You're looking for the easy ticket. I want people that are going to work hard and smart and persistent and have a process.
So you have the largest team in Keller Williams. And what you just told me and told everybody is, you got to have a basic foundation. You have to take action. You have to lead generate. You have to do the same thing we've been doing for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And then you can add layers of marketing on. You can add layers of different business. But if you're not doing the foundation, you're missing the boat. Is that a fair statement?
100% right. I had the call yesterday, and one of my team members wasn't on there. I said to this gentleman, he says, oh, Bob, I was doing this. I said, do me a favor. I grew up in Missouri. He said, oh, really? I didn't know that. I said, no, I didn't grow up in Missouri, but you ever hear the term show me? Missouri is the show me state. You got to show me more. You talk a lot. Stop talking so much. And you need to be you missed a meeting with 80 people on the phone, and you didn't just hear from me, but you heard from other people. You talk too much. You say you want results, but you won't do what I'll do. Why am I on Zoom calls? Why am I doing training? Why am I listening to Jeff Glover? Why am I listening to these other people? Because I want to learn. There's 5 things that we look for in our company. 1 is integrity. 2, you got to be a team player. 3, you got to be coachable. 4, you have to have a servant's heart. And 5, you have to have passion. My children, I'm sure you're all very proud of your children. Couldn't be more proud. My daughter went to Bucknell. She was she broke all the tennis records in Bucknell for women. My son, Robert, played professional baseball, and my youngest son's in law school. And I used to coach my son to baseball, and we were passionate about it. They told me when they were 5 they wanted to play pro ball. And I said, I'll help you get there, but you got to work. You got to show me you want to be there, and you got to have the work ethic. What they went through to get drafted and play professional baseball, people come and say, Bob, I want my son to be like your son. I'm like, I want you to coach him and motivate him. It's like, sorry, I can't motivate your son. They said, what do you mean? I said, I can only create an environment for them to succeed. They got to do it on their own. They have to want to succeed. They have to want to go the extra mile. And I won't tell you the stories of my kids, because you have stories of your own kids that you should be very proud of. Their work ethic and what they did to overcome adversity. Nothing was given to them, and they had to work their way. And that work ethic. In fact, my daughter, I've got a quote right next to my computer at the office, and she said, Dad, don't accept mediocrity. You never accepted it from us, from kids. Why are you accepting it from your agents? I'm like, my daughter's teaching me that. I'm wrong.
I love it.
So you all on this call, I believe in you. I believe you can do it. I love success stories. I believe that everybody can do it, but it's a matter of, do you have a plan? Have you surrounded yourself with the right people to help you achieve your goals? Have you created that positive environment? And are you going to take the necessary steps? And are you going to give up? I have a quote in my desk wall by Winston Churchill: "Don't ever give up." I'm sure some of you people say, "Don't ever give up." This is a market that's very frustrating right now. You can't do much. You're limited. Your income is this. Don't just look for survival right now and keep doing the basics. I am very simple, and I'll continue to be that way. And we're going to get better at the basics. And we weren't good at the basics before.
It's interesting, your approach. You're number 1 in the world. You have this, this opportunity in front of you right now, and you're still making your team better, making yourself better. And one of the things we've been talking about in the office, Bob, is this is the time for you to do things you've always made excuses for you didn't have the time. Like, have you contacted your database? Have you updated your database? Are you cleaning it up? Have you built something you've always wanted to build? Have you written a book you've always said you wanted to write? Have you been around your family more? But more importantly, what are you doing to make a better version of yourself on a daily basis? In life, there's 2 things you can't buy. Money, you can't buy it. You got to earn it. And the second thing is life back. You can't get life back. In your case right now, during this coronavirus time, you're still able to work in Maryland. But what tips would you give people on here today by being number 1 in the world? What would you say that they should be doing as individuals to make a better version of themselves on a personal or business perspective?
It's a great question. Number 1, believe in yourself and don't believe that anybody else is more special than you. You can be the next Mike McCann. You can be the next whoever. You can beat them. I believe Mike could beat me. That's why I'm not going to let up. I'm not, Mike, by the way, I'm not going to let you beat me. So I just want to set the record straight. I'm going to help you be the number 2 in the world.
Don't wake the beast.
Mike, I'm going to help you be the number 2 in the world.
Jordan is number 3 on our list for Education Week. You and Carrie did more business than him. Noah joked because it's not very often you're going to be number 3rd in the list.
So 1, believe in yourselves. You can do it. You are made for greatness. I believe that. I just believe. I believe that. I'm pouring into books, tapes. I'm reading. Right here in my home office is Leadership. John Maxwell. I read a page a day. I've read it 3 times now. Now another book here, Profit First. You got to pour into yourself. You got to want to be better. You got to be better at this. So the 5th thing was for hiring. Remember, I said integrity, team player, coachable, servant's heart, and number 5 is passion. They got to have the tiger in their eye. I don't care if somebody, and I'm impressed, if you have a Harvard degree, and I told my kids, they all have great degrees, but I said, doesn't mean anything, guys, if you don't have drive, if you don't have the energy and the passion. I want the person that has the tiger in their eye. That's the person that's going to become very successful, never going to let up, and will be very, and I love creating success stories with people. And so going back to your question, I'm sorry. I would say number one, pour into yourself. See how much better you can get. A friend of mine was a national trainer and speaker. He got on a plane. There was Evander Holyfield. Remember the greatest fighter in the world at one time?
Yep.
He went up to meet him, and his entourage said, no autographs. Rick, my buddy, said, I don't want any autographs. I want 45 seconds. I want to ask Evander one question. Evander Holyfield said, let him back. He said, sit down. You got 45 seconds. Rick said to Evander, I speak to the world. I want to tell people what makes you the number one fighter in the world. For the next 45 minutes, he sat next to Evander, and Evander, not 45 seconds, but 45 minutes, he said, I tell you what, I don't worry about my competition. Sure, I know if Tyson's going to throw the left hook, or if he's going to do the uppercut, or if this fighter's going to do this. He says, but I work this body, I work out more than any other fighter, and I watch video and train, and so I know what I'm going to do. I become smarter and physically stronger than anybody I'm up against, because I make Evander better than anybody else can make themselves. So he works on himself. So I'm going to encourage you to, one, work on yourself. Two, surround yourself with a support group. This can be, not very encouraging times when you're inside all the time. You're not meeting people that often. So you got to surround yourself, be doing stuff like today. Number three, take massive action. Fail a lot, guys. I failed, and I'm okay to fail. But on the way to fail, you're going to know what works and doesn't work. So take massive action. And four, don't ever give up.
Rich just asked this question is, what is the buzzwords that you're using in most engagement right now? Like what are you saying, or are you more the mentality? It's a numbers game again. I just got to stay in front of my people. I'm going to keep on saying the same thing.
My team always knows that I say some of the same quotes. Success leaves clues. I'm huge for success stories. Every time I'm on the phone or meeting in front of my people, I want to hear Stephanie Lightfoot in our group just rented in the last week 7 houses. That is awesome. Stephanie, please tell me how you did it. I want to know what you did. I want to know the person that walked across the minefield. So success leaves clues. I'm encouraging people, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do this. Number three, we're going to get through this. Look, this too shall pass. But when we come out of it, are you going to be better, or are you going to be worse, or is everybody going to be passing you? I got some other quotes, but I wasn't prepared. So,
okay.
Anyway.
I love it's great advice. What are questions you guys have right now for Bob? You got the number one Keller Williams agent in the world and his team right here. And I've got some texts. I just want to check Facebook. I'm trying to keep up with both, Bob. People are asking me questions back and forth. Here's another thing, personal wise, Bob. How do you stay balanced? You're very successful. You're a very humble person. You just feel like you're talking to Mike and talking yourself, like you're really good people. You can just tell you're a hard worker. You nothing but love from you. What would you say from a personal perspective? What do you do well to stay balanced, being this successful?
Somebody told me this a long time ago. The balance is the hardest word in the English language, and I agree with that. There's 5, when I do my goals, there's 5 legs to my chair. There's spiritual, and well, I have a spiritual routine, physical, financial, family, and personal. And we all set our goals, and I'm always out of balance. Your chair is always going to be out of balance. Because if my business is going really well, like right now, I'm exercising, but since the gym, and this can be a limiting belief, but since the gyms are closed down and I can't buy the equipment because they're all backlogged, you can't buy weights for your house. So I'm limited to doing rowing and biking, whereas you used to do a different routine in lifting weights. So now I'm doing more bike riding than I am anything else. So I'm constantly looking at the areas of my life and making sure that I'm connected. So I know that there's those 5 areas, and you're always going to be out of balance, but I'm always cognizant of where I need to apply. I know some people that are great They spend so much time with their family, and they're golfing and they're doing it like great, but their business stinks. They're out of balance over there. So I don't want to create a financial problem so that I can spend, so that I'm with my kids, but don't have the money. So there's always a delicate balance. So having a good coach, having an accountability partner can help you in those areas. But those are the 5 legs of my chair. One thing I forgot to say, people always say, Bob, you wear a coat and tie every day. You wear a suit. And I will share this with you. Dennis Waitley, this quote struck me back when I was 20 years old, listening to tapes and reading books, called Positive Self-Expectancy. I expect to list a house every single day of my life. I wear a suit every day. I'll go in the office. Monday, I was on the call with my expansion team. I told them I didn't have any appointments that day. I don't have any appointments. I'm going to be prospecting all day, but I'm going to have a listing. You know, I had a listing appointment at 4 o'clock that day, and I set up another one for Saturday at 1:30. So I went out on a listing appointment. So every day I expect to get a listing, and I encourage you all to have that mentality of positive self-expectancy. I'll never, except if I walk in the office in the night to make calls and stuff in sweatpants. If I go in during the day, I'll never go on a base. Cal Ripken, who I sold his house and I was his partner for 22 years, he doesn't go on the baseball field without his cleats on. He's prepared every day, or was prepared. I'm prepared every day to list houses and to meet clients every single day.
So I'm trying to get Mike unmuted. He wants to say something to you here. Hold on a second. Alyssa, can you unmute Mike McCann? He's on here. There we go.
He stole all my scripts. That guy sounds just like me. It's unbelievable. Now, why aren't I doing his business? I'm coming after you, Bob. That's why I came, man. Honestly, it's unbelievable, the DNA. And we knew this the moment that we first met. The DNA inside is unbelievable. Never give up. And why am I doing all these Zooms, learning all this new stuff? Like, you should be doing it too, guys. Come on, you know, like
That's right.
Just great stuff, man. And it's, I love everything. I could just repeat so much of what you said, but it's fantastic. But I love it. I mean, I don't want to be the best ping pong player. I want to come after you. I want to beat you. I'm going to practice my game, man.
He's good at ping pong too.
Well, it's what's great about KW. And I was at Remax for 5 years, 4 years, something like that. You're on an island by yourself. I mean, the culture is so totally different. Nothing wrong with Remax, but you are, if you're here at KW, you're at the right place. If you're not at KW, I encourage you to be there. This is the right place. I mean, the leadership starts at the top with Gary, and the culture, the training. When you can listen to a billionaire speak and his story of how he started and persevering. I'll tell you something. I called him about 3 months ago, and I wasn't happy with something that was going on. And typical Gary, he always says, Bob, I have a book for you. I'm like, all right, what is it? It's called Pizza Tiger. I'm like, he says, it's the founder of Domino's. He says, hold on. He says, I'm sending you the book right now. He shipped the book to me. I read that book, and I couldn't put the daggone thing down. I encourage you all to read it. And Gary quotes it in a lot of his speeches because he had more failures, Tom Monahan, more failures than anybody else in the creation of Domino's. And what he did, it was just awesome. And it's very similar to our company. That, you know, I was calling him one day. I said, Gary, I'm really frustrated what's going on over here. And guys, just because we have high volume and everything, you know, we have same challenges you have. And you're either in business, you're either alive and growing or you're dead and dying. As long as I have the energy and passion to pursue, I'm going to keep doing this. And I want to be better at it every day. So that book has helped me a great deal. I encourage you to pick up the book. You won't be able to put it down.
Well, one more thing. Well, let me just say one more thing. Yeah, so I'm 33 years in the business. You came in 2008. Unbelievable. But I say.
No. I came in 1977.
Oh.
I was in new home sales from 77 to 2008. Did very well. Had the second largest new home sales company in the country. And the crash of 2008, all my builders went out of business. So I closed their doors. I had offices in 16 states.
Okay, got it. So I missed that part. But what I like to say is, if I had this playbook of Keller Williams when I came into business, and the mentors and the everybody helping each other, I would have excelled so much faster. Just like you. I read everything. I'm following everything. I still feel like I'm brand new, learning the wealth of information to make me better as a human being, better as a team, better at production, better for my clients. I mean, I had to find it all by myself, but I would follow that map.
The good news, Mike, is that both of us, we have today forward to implement all of this. And what we've learned here, Ben Carson performed surgery on my mother. And I actually went to a dinner with just Ben Carson, myself, his wife, and another couple. And I was playing pool with Ben Carson. And I asked him, I said, Ben, how long would it take me to be a neurosurgeon like you? He said, Bob, I could show you what I do in 6 months. You could be a neurosurgeon. I'm like, what? He says, if everything went perfect, I could show you how to be a neurosurgeon. But if one thing went wrong, it would take me 30 years to show you what to do. It would take you 30 years of experience. You and I, everybody else, as long as things are going great, they're going to think, this is great. But our history has helped us, and our problems have helped us going forward. So that's why I am so excited about our future. Even though I've screwed up a lot, I'm so excited about going forward that I can't control myself sometimes. We've got some new partners we're signing on board that are $50, $100 million. Some really good things are happening, and I feel so good because now our systems and our processes are there, whereas before we were just a lead generation, lead business. I have so many sources of business, the luxury homes, sports and entertainment, all that's great. But now I've got the processes that I didn't have because I found the right guy who happens to be my brother-in-law, who is nothing but a systems guy, and I want to go out here and make it rain, and he's slowing me down. Slowing me down because he does it right. I'm a ready, fire, aim guy. He's a ready, aim, fire guy.
Our systems are so much better since we made the switch. It's unbelievable.
You're right.
And I'm still going to catch you, okay, boy?
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for coming on, though, man. I really appreciate it. I love it.
My pleasure.
All right. So anybody else going last shot? We got now we got 2 of the top 5 in the world probably on here right now. I love it. So if you guys have any more questions, shoot them in our Facebook page. We'll get you some answers on it, or in Zoom. If you guys aren't at KW Philly, I think Bob and Mike, you guys know how much they believe in this and what we're doing here differently. We'd love to talk to you if you're in the city or suburbs. We just appreciate all you guys investing in your brain, investing in your body, investing in yourself. As human beings right now during this time, we have 2 choices. 1, flight, or 2, fight. And you guys have had 2 people, 2 great examples the last 2 days of fighters. They both have the energy. They both have the knowledge. They both have the action. They both have great personalities. The biggest thing what I've noticed they have very much in common, they actually do the work. They're not sitting there making excuses. They're hard workers. They're belly people. They're out there making it work no matter what comes at them. They're gonna persevere. It doesn't matter what comes at them. You watching this, if you guys are having those challenges right now that you can't overcome things, or you're having those battles, all of us have those. Reach out to me, Mike, Noah, anybody in the group. We're willing here to help you at KW Philly. If you're not at KW Philly, obviously we'd love you to join and talk to us. Set up a time. So, Bob, from the bottom of my heart, man, I really, really appreciate it. I know you and Noah know each other well. You guys are great friends. Mike continues to talk about you. I'm just glad to get to know you more today. And, I know you're busy. Thanks for pouring into us today. It really means a lot.
My pleasure. Hold on a second, guys. First off, before I say goodbye to you guys, and I want to share something with you. 18 years old, I went to my first seminar, and Tom Hopkins was the speaker. I could barely afford to afford the seminar. I was there for 8 hours, and a guy came up at the end of the seminar and said to Tom Hopkins, who at the time was charging $10,000 a day. Back then, 1977, that was it still is a lot of money, but today it'd be so much more. He drew this on the board. I don't know if you all can see that.
Yeah.
But I use this in my presentations all the time. People didn't know what that was. And he said, Tom, you could have condensed the seminar to 10 minutes. You just wasted everybody's time in 8 hours. Everybody was dead quiet. He said, what is this? And he says, not Mike, sorry. He said, Tom, they're belly buttons. And the key to success is going belly to belly, face to face with people every day. I think too many people in our business, and obviously we need to do this now because of COVID, are texting and emailing and doing this. But when you can safely go face to face and let people see the real you, let them see how genuine you are and passionate you are, and that you're going to do the job. And if you go more face to face with a winning program, you're going to achieve a lot more. Thank you for being on this, for letting me join you today. Noah and Jeremy, thank you for inviting me. Noah, I'll do anything to help you. I've always liked you, and look forward to seeing you all again. And Mike, I'll see you on stage at the number two position.
Thanks, Bob.
I love it. You're the best, guys. Thank you all. Thanks, everybody, coming today.
Thank
See
you,
you guys back tomorrow, 11 o'clock. We got another great speaker. We have a great lineup the rest of the week. Thanks for being on today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Go take some action.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Okay, Bob.
Thank you.